Hi there, Canucks, and welcome to the Canuck Capsuleers Chronicles. Today we are happy to welcome with us Rixx Javix. So he just came back from Iceland this week, but how was it actually?
We unveiled the new board game that we've been working on this year, and with Titan Forge and CCP in partnership. So that was pretty exciting. Yeah, it was the first public showing of the system and all the artwork and everything. And we had two tables set up for people to play. So we had players pretty much playing 2 full days straight. So it was pretty exciting.
For those of you that might not know Rixx Javix, Rixx, could you please present
Mhm.
yourself?
The Thursday of FanFest, I celebrated my 15th year of playing Eve online. Started September 21st, 2008, and have not taken a break. So I'm not one of those weirdos that takes 3 years off and then claims to have played for 15 years. I've actually played for 15 years straight. Not always as active as always, but pretty much nonstop. So I run a pirate corporation in Losec, have for the last 10 years, called Stay Frosty, who's a part of a Band Apart Alliance, which is participates in the Alliance tournament. And we put on an annual frigate free for all, which is probably one of the largest player events held in the game. We break. I think last year we handed out 20,000 frigates, and yeah, and we broke all kinds of low sec PvP records for number of kills and in a single day, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much me. That's the in-game version of me, and the out-of-game version of me is I have an IP license with CCP that I produce artwork for, and I have a store at rixjavix.com. You can buy posters and other materials that I create. And I often work with CCP on special projects like the Community Beat. I designed and created the Community Beat graphics for them, and for the London office opening, and yada yada yada. Win prizes on contests and design T-shirts and stuff like that. Just having fun, and doing alliance logos. That's my other thing. So
Well, actually, we got one of your piece in here in the house. Is like in the center when we just enter. It's just looking amazing.
oh,
Wow.
nice. Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, which one did you get?
We got the
Oh,
Capsuleer.
nice. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that was I created that one for the 15th anniversary.
Oh,
So
really?
yeah.
So a lot of projects actually stand out during the FanFest last weekend, and one of those is this strategic board game set into the Eve universe. What can you tell us about that? And also, we see like
Yes.
all those figurines. Well, actually, what size are they? Because we saw that some of them seem
They're
quite
pretty
big
good
at
size
FanFest.
on the real version. They're, I don't know, 2, 3 inches tall, uh, and they have various sizes. There you go. So what we did was, well, what the Titan Forge did was they created two playable versions. They're prototypes, so they're about, I'd say, 65% finished, and they created two of those that were playable, and then they also created a 200% version. So everything in the game was scaled up 200%, and that was for show. And they put that on a table in the front. And the funny part about that is, Ben, is that as everyone came up to the area in the trade hub to see the video, to see the board game, they saw the 200% version first, right? And they're like, "Wow, look at the size of these ships! This is amazing!" And the game grid would fill your entire living room table. It was huge. And the first reaction was, "Can I have this?" And so everybody from Titan Forge is like, "Wait, wait, wait, wait! This is just for show. You have any idea how expensive this would be?" And people were like, "I don't care. I'd buy this." And and the funny part was, over 2 days, hearing this over and over and over again, Roman, who is the creative director at Titan Forge, he started to think, maybe there's something to this. I should. I think he's like, I should really think about how much it would cost. So I think he's going to go back and see if not that there would be not that the whole game would suddenly go 200%, but I think maybe maybe a special exclusive, or maybe for certain kinds of support in Kickstarter, you get a model. Maybe your favorite ship gets 200% version, and you get that with it. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But the reaction to the 200% was quite hilarious.
So yes, it will put the link
Right.
of the Kickstarter for this event right into the description down below.
Yeah, yeah, and be sure to do that too. Click on the link, go to Kickstarter. All you have to do at this point is just sign up and give your email, so that they can stay in touch with you and let you know when things are going live and what kind of exclusives you might be able to get, and things like that, and just keep you updated. It also, on the other hand, is why should I do that? Because I can just, it also gives us an idea of what kind of support we've got for the Kickstarter before. And I want to say this too, and I know that this was something that Roman said quite a bit at FanFest, and so this is a good opportunity for me to say it as well. Is in the past, a lot of people have put out, we're going to do this on Kickstarter, and it's kind of a half-ass thing, and people wait for months and months and years sometimes. And one of the things that Roman wants to make sure that we're doing, and this is the game is finished, and we go live on the Kickstarter. So when people ask, when's the Kickstarter going and stuff, it'll be live when the game is finished. So he just wants to make sure that it's done, and then we go to Kickstarter. People don't have to wait forever for us to develop it and to work on it and do it. So that's quite a commitment from them on the front end, to develop the game, to put all the time and effort in it. I mean, I've been working on this since February of this year, so that's almost 9 months of work that I've been doing, and so that's a lot of front end commitment on their part, which I think is extraordinary. And I think it shows a lot to the commitment that Titan Forge is putting into it and how much they believe in it.
Okay, so and here we got like a CCP burger with some people from Titan Forge, and we got like a better look on the size of the figurines in the game and some of the like all the elements of the game right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's CCP Burger. And, I don't know her CCP name. That's Anna Katrin. She's the brand. Well, her actual title is Business Development Manager for CCP. She's the one that I work with my IP license, and then she's the one that Titan Forge is working with for their IP license to do the game. But yeah, you can. That's a regular table, regular sized table, and that's a regular sized version of the board game, so you can see what the real size is. It's not as big as the 200%. And so yes, all the ship illustrations on. There's 36 different ships in the game, and each one of them has a card. There you can see some of the cards. There's the Nighthawk and the Sleipnir and the Absolution and the Astarte. So all the ship illustrations are I did for those. You can also see in that case is mineral cards for I don't remember exactly. I should remember that because I spent a lot of time on it. But those are illustrations that I did for minerals. Uh, Icons for the tokens, asteroid belts, the box art, the grid art, and a lot of that is still just prototype stuff that has yet to be finalized. So I'm still working on. As a matter of fact, I just got off Discord on Friday with them with some new marching orders on other cards that have to be illustrated. So I've got quite a lot of work still to do on this.
Okay, nice. So, how much of the game is completed approximately right now?
Yeah, I think I said, but I think about 65% completed at this point.
Okay, and like, do you are like a Titan Forge have like a fork of dates by which like the game should actually
Yeah,
come
so
out?
we're right now we're shooting for end of the year. So yeah, 3 or 4 months.
Oh, okay, so just in times for the holidays.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think maybe it might get pushed to the very beginning of the year, maybe after the holidays, but I think that that's probably the window we're looking at. Yeah.
Okay, and here like we see structures.
Yeah. There's a Keepstar, a Ratori, and an and a
Nathanor.
thank you, Athenor, for word processing. Yeah. So engineering, combat, and mining.
Also, like we got a lot of stuff on
Yeah.
this picture. So we got cards, got dice, like six-faced dice, two
Yeah. So there's
colors.
black and white, and then those dice. This is how we've introduced like the random sort of. So part of the trick here was try to capture as much of the Eve, experience that we could in a board game version, right? So how do you do that? And one of the lucky things that we have is Titan Forge actually has two workers who are Eve players as well. So yeah, so there's two Eve players on Titan Forge's staff, and then there's me, of course, and so that helps a lot. And these guys have developed board games before, so this is not new to them, and so they're really good at it. And so that combination of black and white dice, there's ways that depending on what you're doing, the way you use more white or more black when you roll gives you a better chance of doing certain types of things. So defense, offense, but also gives smaller ships a chance to maybe defeat larger ships. So it's not always a cookie cutter kind of an answer that happens. So it enters a randomness to the game, which I think this speaks very well. One of the great things was that, like I said, we had players pretty much playing the game, or at least a version of the game, a 30-minute version, the entire 2 days. And one of the great things that I heard back from a lot of people who played it was how well it did capture the spirit of Eve Online, and I think that's pretty cool. That was one of the things that I was most worried about, that people would play it and go, "Well, this is nothing like Eve Online, and I really don't like it," And I think that hearing that back from everybody was very encouraging. This is a lot like Eve Online. You guys did a great job capturing the spirit of it, and it makes sense. And it's like, wow, that just really, that's some validation for all the hard work that went into it.
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty
Okay, so
cool.
you said that this was like a 30-minute version of the game, but are there like mini versions?
Well, it did a streamlined version for playtesting, obviously, because we didn't want four people sitting at a table for 2.5 hours at FanFest. So that's about what we think a full four-player experience of the game will be, is about 2.5 hours. Maybe three, depending on how smart the four players are. I don't know how else to say it. It's kind of like Monopoly or Risk, right? You can play a 15-minute version of Risk, but if you have four geniuses playing Risk, it might take 4 hours for you to finish. The same with Monopoly, right? If it's you and your three dumb friends, maybe you can wrap it up in 30 minutes. But if the other players know what they're doing too, it might take a little longer. So
Okay, so it means it's a four-player game.
yeah, four players. Yeah, it's intended for four factions, four empires, four players.
And can we play with less
Yeah,
players?
yeah. You can play well down to two. You can play two-player. Yeah, yeah. It wouldn't be optimal, but that would be fine. I mean, and we also because of the comments that we've gotten and the feedback's been so positive, we're already thinking about a fifth player, and making, especially in light of Havoc and the changes that are coming out, we're considering making that fifth player a pirate faction. So, and he would have, and the cool part about that is, from what I've heard and all the ideas that we've been talking about, is that that fifth player would have different rules and a different role than the other four. So he would be playing a different game inside the game. So he, like, chaos agent basically. And yeah, so that would be like an expansion probably. And we've also talked about maybe a wormhole expansion, so that
Yeah,
you
that
would
would be
add.
pretty great.
Yeah, you would add like extra grids to the board, that would be wormhole space, and then there would be a whole other content that would happen in wormhole space. So that would be kind of cool too. There's other ideas floating around too for ways to expand on it, and even we even talked, briefly. I talked with Roman about this, about an entirely different game, but using the models. So more of like a tactical sort of combat version, with using the models and in a different kind of board and really getting into the details about aligning and optimal range and, you know, very, 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 very specific kind of combat version of capturing the combat of Eve in a game, which I think could be pretty cool. So yeah, I like that idea.
Okay, so here, like, we got a Poco,
There's a
we got
Poco,
like
yeah, yeah.
all
There's
kinds of
Pocos in the game
ships,
too.
but
That's
actually,
another
could you
another
like
structure.
run us through like what is
Yep.
it to play this game actually?
There is, and I will freely admit that my focus has been, on design and art and illustration, and game dev has not been my primary focus. So I learned a lot watching people play it at FanFest, just like everybody else did who was there. Because they'll I mean I get involved in decisions like for example, which ships are we going to have in the game? So that was something that I was involved with deciding and working with them on. Um, but the game dev details and stuff, again, that's they're in Poland and I'm in the United States, so it would make it very difficult for us to get into that kind of detail over Zoom. But having said that, it's pretty much essentially what you think it would be. You start out with a certain number of types of ships and a starting position. Each player has a starting position, and as you explore space and encounter things on the grids, you flip them over. So if you notice there, those three Caldari grids, they're in blue. That's the Caldari space, and then you can see up to the top there. That's a Mars space. And as you in the grids inside have numbers on them, 1, 2, 3. That's how valuable those grids are. So threes are more valuable than ones, et cetera. And as you explore the space, you flip those grids over and reveal what's in them. So you have those some exploration involved. So each grid has different resources, different numbers of asteroid belts, different types of things that are going on, stations, not stations, planets, etc., and resources that can be exploited. And as you go on and you exploit those resources and you gather ISK, you also encounter missions and other things that you have to achieve. You build more ships, your fleet grows, and even possibly, I think there's a picture I sent you of Titans. So that's one way it could go too. There's different ways the game can end. It doesn't always end the same way. Yeah, yeah. There's a Titan model, and the Titans come in pieces. So you build I think there's 4 pieces for each Titan. So you build one piece, and then you add, and once you get it completed, it's a full Titan, and you can use it on the board. It's pretty cool. I mean, it is it's complicated, not complicated, but it is, people ask me like, what would you compare it to? And I don't know how board gamey your viewers are, but it's probably not as complicated as Twilight Imperium if you're familiar with that board game, but close. So it's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. There's faction development cards, there's mineral cards, there's ship cards, and again, there's 32 ships, but I believe, and I don't know if this is right, so don't quote me on this one, but I think there's a hundred and some models in the game. So you have multiple Crusaders, you have multiple 2 battleships or 3. I don't remember all the details, but yeah, there's multiples of some ships.
Okay, and here we see like exploration frigates
Hmm.
that we guess would have like bonuses to explore the tiles and flip them open and explore inside the
Exactly. Yeah, every
tiles.
ship has its own unique capabilities and abilities, and yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah. Yeah, and we just so when we picked ships, we tried to, like, well, what kind of, we didn't want to go with the, this typical uh types of ships that you see from Eve, with rifters and things, which I'll get a lot of play. We went in with command. We went with marauders. So when you see the battleships, those are golems. and we went with command battle cruisers. So the absolution instead of the harbinger. So we went slightly with more Tech Two types of ships, herons and Schleppners and nightmares. I mean, Nighthawks instead of Drakes. That kind of thing. So they have special abilities that those ships, bring to the table that the regular variants don't. Command bonuses and things. Pretty cool.
So yeah, well, from what we heard from everyone that went into Iceland, like this event was really really positive for like what we used to hear from those kind of events. So what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I mean, the feedback has been amazingly. I was my wife too. She was with me at FanFest, so every night when we would start wrapping up the day, she would go on Reddit or somewhere and try to find anything negative that anybody was saying about us. But it's all been very positive. I mean, there's a few outliers and things, but for the most part, yeah. So that's a funny story there. So we were at Groyska, the CCP headquarters, on Thursday, which was a cool thing that they did this year that they've never done before. They opened up their offices the day before FanFest on Thursday. So there were presentations and early bird registration and things like that. And there was, you could get your tickets and your bags and all that. And then there was also presentations going on at the office. And that was kind of nice, sort of get ahead of the game and meet everybody. And then that night was the charity dinner. So as we were walking out after Max Singularity had a player presentation on Thursday, which was pretty incredible and very emotional for those of us who were part of it. But afterwards, we talked to people, and then we finally started to leave, and we were like, we got to go back to our apartment and get ready for the charity dinner. So as we're walking out of Groyska to get to our car, we run into Hilmar. He's walking in as we're walking out. We're like, "Hey, Hilmar, how's it going?" And he's like, "Oh, great, stand there. I want to take your picture." So he took the picture, and we go, oh, okay, that's pretty unusual, because usually we're taking his picture. And he's like, I think I'll use that in the keynote. I was like, oh, man, you should have told me that ahead of time. I could have stood better or had a better expression on my face or something. But it didn't. I was worried it was going to turn out goofy, but it wasn't too bad. But so that's just funny. Yeah, this is the seventh one that we've been to, and we've been to Iceland 8 times. But I I don't know how to explain it. People have asked me, and it's hard. I can't. I don't want to get too crazy with it and go like everybody was nuts about it. But there was a different energy this year that I've experienced in the past, and I'm not sure what that was. Maybe it's coming out of COVID. Maybe it's coming out of the lockdown. Maybe it's just getting back into the groove. But also, I think a lot of good release stuff, right? I mean, the first person shooter looks pretty awesome. I mean that Dust people are pretty happy. It's like, we lost Dust, but we got this new Vanguard thing coming out. Havoc looks amazing. The I was talking to Master Plan, and he's the one that had his finger on the button for turning on the live feed at the beginning of the keynote. And he was really super nervous about that because the last time they tried that, it didn't work. And he's like, "Well, I hope it works." So he pushes the button, and it did. It worked really well. The reveal of the Jovian gates and the new system with Deathless is in and all that. It worked really smooth, and everything went really well. And was received. I mean, they put a lot of time and effort into these, and it shows, right?
So you're speaking about like CCP master plan, but could you tell me like was he wearing like his fabulous wonderful toque?
A wonderful what?
It's like a beanie that you put on your head like to keep you warm in
Oh,
winter.
yeah, yeah, pretty awesome. He's a cool guy. I like him a lot.
Well, yeah, like there's like a whole story behind it, but let's say that Dam and knitted like a beanie for him with the
Yeah,
logo of
my wife
Soaring
was very
Advance on
excited.
it.
She won one of the auctions for. They have a knitting club at CCP, and
Wait,
they
what?
yeah. I know, right? I didn't know this either. But they had I don't know, it was like 8 caps, like knitted caps, for winter time that they had knitted. One was a Garista's, had the Garista's logo, was black with orange, and I tried to bid for that, but it got a little crazy, so I dropped out. But we all but she won one. It was blue. It has the Eve logo on it, and it's really nice. Somebody hand knitted, so I don't remember which CCP employee knitted that one, but yeah, they all sold. They were pretty cool. So yeah, they have a knitting club at CCP. So
Wow, I'm wondering if like we're the one behind this club because of what we did last year.
yeah, maybe you inspired them. Yeah, maybe you inspired them. They're like, oh, look at the quality of this knitting cap. Maybe we could do that.
Okay, so coming back to the board game, what else could we say concerning it?
It's we're still working on it. I have a lot of illustrations still to do, and I don't know. I'm pretty excited about it. I probably more excited than anybody, but maybe not Roman. But
Oh wait,
hmm.
last time you were on the show, well, it had another name, but you were well kind of closing shops, and now like your shop is fully open, right?
It is 100% open. It's running, and yeah, you can go to rixjavix.com, order anything you want. I've got 4 or 5 things in the works to hopefully come out soon. Um, part of the reason was, well, I set the shop up wrong, and it kind of did its own thing, and then kind of needed to be restarted. And then I got involved with this board game, and that was taking up a lot of my time, and so that's why it was slow getting back up. It was supposed to be 2 months down in the summer, and it ended up being 4 months down. So it was a little slower than I'd hoped for, but it is back up and running full speed.
And you got all the links into the description of this video. And also, last time you were on the show, you talked about us about a
Yeah,
project
yeah.
that should came out like anytime soon. Now we know what that is. Are there like any other projects that you cannot actually talk
Yeah.
to us
Actually, there's
about?
a couple other projects that I know about that I can't talk about. Sorry.
Oh, it's
Um,
alright that you're
one,
sorry. You're in the best place to be sorry here.
yeah, and the great thing about FanFest is that you bump into people. I bumped into I've been friends with Kriba for almost 15 years now since I started. We found each other through Eon magazine. You remember that? And Kriba was starting a drone business, and I was in a drone business at the time, and so we had a little common thing to talk about. So I finally got to meet him in person, and we were sitting talking, and I came up with an idea, and I brought Catch Say over, and I talked to them about it, and they're like, "Yeah, this is great." And then I went and talked to Convict, and he's like, "Yeah, this is a good idea, but we don't know how to do it, so we're working that out." And then I met Richie Shoemaker, who was the editor of Eon magazine, and we were talking, and he said, "I would like to do this for next FanFest," and I'm like, "Okay." So now I have another project that I'd like to work on, or hopefully work on with Richie for 2025 FanFest. Which if I give a clue, it is 2025 FanFest will be the 20th anniversary of Eon magazine. So that's a clue. So anyway, yeah, that's probably too big of a clue. I probably gave it away. But Richie, sorry. But yeah, so and then Clear Skies 4 too, of course. I'm still working with Ian on Clear Skies 4, the next episode. And yeah, I feel really bad because I got worked up into FanFest and all the things that I had to do for that, and I owe him some things that I have to send him. So I have to sneak that in there somehow. And yeah, so Clear Skies 4 too, which is I don't know when that's going to be done. Whenever Ian gets around to finishing it, but I've seen a couple of scenes from it, and they're absolutely hysterical. So I can't wait to. And I've read the script, and it's awesome. So yeah, so Clear Skies 4 soon. Soon TM's on it. Yeah, put the TM's on this soon.
So if you want to watch or rewatch those episodes of Clear Sky, and like there's gonna be all the links in the description below.
Oh yeah, go watch the first 3 episodes of Clear Skies. It's awesome. It's also funny to watch it in hindsight because of how old some of the first episode is. But this game's been around 20 years. Ben, that's pretty weird. We're all getting old.
Oh no. We got denial
No,
for
no.
that, and well,
Okay,
it's
all
just
right.
experience.
It's always awesome. Yeah, always awesome. I miss Dame though. I'm sorry she's not here, but I hope she's doing well. But
Oh yeah. Like, see, she's on another
good.
project right
And
now.
always good, catch a base. And sorry about the teasing for projects I can't talk about, but they're good. But see, last time, like you said, I teased this, and this was worth waiting for, right? So
I don't know. It's all right.
yeah,
That's exactly what we wanted to know, so that we can reinvite you and talk about those projects right after.
awesome. Good to hear that. Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
on this, Canucks and friends, thank you for listening, and see you in the next Chronicle.